Let's get into talking about the film. So, Electric State is based on the novel of the same name. What drew you to this story and made you want to adapt it into a film?
Well, I would say primarily the themes. So when we saw Simon Stollenhag's book, the thing that struck us right away was this very interesting a relationship he was exploring between humans and technology. It was
Mm,
a, sort of a very intriguing relationship in his imagery. And we also feel like that is such a strong issue in our lives today. It's become more dominant than ever, I think, in terms of how human beings are struggling with the rate of technological innovation and what it means for them in their lives in terms of how it empowers them, but also how it can sort of threaten them and threaten their humanity. So that's really, I think, what catalyzed this more than anything. Also, the powerful relationship between a sister and a brother, the idea that this girl had been separated from her family by war, believes her brother is still alive, is on a quest through this apocalyptic landscape to find him. That was a very emotionally potent concept as well.
when it came to adapting the story, did you did you have an idea of how you wanted to like put your own twist on the robots, or was that all from the book? Did you want to stay very true to it?
No, it was a real tonal shift from the book. So we knew we needed to have a tonal shift in some of the robots because the book, the some of the robots are grotesque and very dark in the book. And again, we wanted to reach a broader audience with the movie.
Mm,
Um, so there were some very conscious choices. It's where the idea came from that, in this alternate universe, alternate timeline, that Walt Disney created the robots and enhanced their cartoon appeal. Also made sense to us that they would have been designed in a non-threatening way when you're introducing some, critical piece of technology like that into society. You want to do it in a way that will, achieve mass adoption. And so you want
mm,
to create something that has an appeal to it or a charm.
yeah. Oh, I love like the designs of like Mr. Peanut and all that in the film. I thought that was, I don't know, it was really clever, like the way, and Woody Harrelson's voice in it as well was quite like took me by surprise when I first saw it. Um, and when it came to the casting process, did you envision certain actors to speak these certain roles and like be able to be these robots essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, certainly you mentioned Mr. Peanut and Woody Harrelson. I mean, that was a very tricky role because one of the things we liked about the robots were that this idea that they were created for these very specific purposes, uh, to sell peanuts, to be a brand ambassador for Mr. Peanut in his instance. But he sort of develops ideas about his own ideas about who he is and what he thinks of life and what he wants to do. And he becomes a sort of a leader for robots to have more autonomy and have a voice. So it's really important for us to have somebody who was relatable, but like had a level of intelligence, of a folksy intelligence to him. We always imagined him as a bit of an Atticus Finch character. And we wanted somebody who is had intellectual integrity, but also a lot of easy relatability. And
Yeah.
again, that sort of leads us into to find a very wonderful actor like Woody Harrelson. Same thing, Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie's a character. He voices the robot Herman, who is sort of a partner in crime with the Chris Pratt character in this movie. Um, we'd worked with Anthony over several movies. You never seen him do anything quite like this, but knowing Anthony on a personal level, getting to understand him as a performer better and better, we could see that he could bring something really special to the table in terms of how he
Yeah.
voiced this character, and he's kind of remarkable in that role as well. But yeah, everybody
Mm.
was chosen for very specific reasons.
Joe, I've got in a lot of your films, there is always a little cameo that you do. Um, how do you pick? Do you like know when to put yourself and pick it, or is that picked by someone else? Or because you're in, well, like Endgame, you're very prevalent in that, and there is a little bit in Electric State where you appear in it. Did you choose when to like put yourself in there and
Yeah, usually it's when we can't find someone else to play the role, and then I'll just take the role. But I always try to
fair.
make it something fun for my kids that they'll get a kick out of.
When the film gets towards the end, you get to it kind of leaves it open for future, like a future in this world. Is there any plans to go back to it, or
I mean, we like building immersive worlds, you know, and
Mm,
uh,
We
the
have,
audience has to tell us.
we're actually releasing a game a few days after the movie, Netflix games. That is a
oh,
really
nice.
cool expression of the world as well. So
Mm,
yeah, like Joe's saying, we love the world building. We certainly designed this world in a way that we thought could be explored further. Um, but we'll other than the movie and the game, we'll see what happens.